Andy. You heard me talk about that as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. Are we there? Is it working now?
But.
Necron Andy. He said, debating my list for Beachhead, do I stick with Star Shatter or swap to the Cryptid detachment? Don't know, Andy. Don't care.
I think.
Could give a fuck. I don't know what either of them do.
Is it. My problem with Necrons, right, is that I think I don't know what they do, and every Necron army looks the same, even if I think the detachments are different.
You're the Necron man.
Yeah.
You tell me. I fucking got a clue. I don't fucking know.
I think run Necrons. That's what I'm saying.
Star Shatter. Joe's alive. Joe is alive. Welcome back to channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday afternoon. For a brief moment, it's not pissing down outside. And not only is it not pissing down outside, which makes it a slightly better day, Joe turned up. Look at him. He got here.
Yeah.
He solved his problems.
I got a functioning car. Only one, not two. I will eventually get a second car. Eventually. But I have done loads of work at home. Like, I've painted, 30-odd models. So, there's more stuff. I've got more stuff on my desk, you know.
Andy says, cheers for the constructive advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And,
you're very welcome.
So, I don't know anything about Necrons is one of those armies that, I did in 6th edition, I did in 7th edition, and I've never felt the urge to do them again.
I always love the concept of them, and then I start to play them and I'm instantly bored. It's been my experience.
Yeah. I think...
So,
I think you can make cool Necron armies, I just don't think that they're good when you make them cool.
Yeah.
Because I do think the best Necron units are flayed ones and Ophidian destroyers, because they just look like old wraiths.
Yeah.
And they're
I like Ophidians because they look like old wraiths, but their rules were a bit meh.
Yeah,
normally.
I've always thought about the idea of just doing a full Necron army, but in a flayed one style.
I like the idea.
Destroyers and stuff.
Destroyer cult is what I like. Yeah, destroyer cult and stuff is cool. I'm into it. Whatever. We need to get him on the channel at some point in the near future as well. It's been a while.
Gareth, I didn't take the Hierophant home. It's still led against the fucking wall over there.
He wasn't expecting to not be able to come back for a week.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Joe on the Thursday went, fuck it, I can't be bothered next week. What happened is he left on the Thursday after the show. He got less than halfway home and there was a group chat message which was a picture of a major engine failure on a dashboard and a oh fuck.
Yeah. I got to Wello.
Yeah.
A brief aside, Wello is a quaint little English village on A36, but they keep cleaning the sign because someone keeps on putting loads and loads of O's before it. So it's ooh hello. And someone keeps cleaning it. It's super annoying. I'm not doing it to the sign, but
yeah.
But
so unfortunately, Joe wasn't here last week.
Yeah, I left a bunch of stuff here because I was like, I got my stuff I got to do on the weekend, and then I come back, pick it up, and do it.
He actually categorically said on Thursday before he left, no point me taking it out. I've got enough for the weekend at least.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And the car broke. Yeah. And his other car was broke.
But I picked up a car this weekend. It's the newest car I've ever owned.
I did. When you pulled in, I was like
14 now.
So where did he get that from?
2014.
He's clearly getting paid too much.
It was only like $2 and a bit grand, so it'll probably last a year or two, and then I have to replace it.
I don't know. It's a Ford Focus. They fucking run them things. You'll be right.
The problem is with cheap cars is that if you don't pay much money for them, every year you get out of it is a bonus, right? And then it gets to a stage of how much money do I then invest into
keeping it running? And where does it break before it's worth buying another one?
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Oh,
no, I've been. I got some Templars done. Got some Raven Guard on my desk. I got some. I did that cool Night Lords guy. I've got some Night Lords Chosen to do. I've got 18 Raven Wing Outriders that are all based and transferred up. So you've got to do the details and stuff on them.
Mm-hmm.
I was just doing loads of little bits because one of my problems that I keep doing when I varnish models to do stuff is I don't let the varnish cure properly. I like varnish it, blow the hairdryer, bang stuff on, and then what it does is just fucks up the varnish.
Yeah,
So
well,
now I have to leave it like 24 hours.
and he's got an absolute monumental pile of shit from the last few years that has accrued and built up in his garage, and we've got here. So at the moment, the task is just get through all that stuff. So he had some bonus time last week.
Doing that like my net zero.
But he's back now. He's back. We have him. He's here. So he's here for the Liam and Joe show, which is important because of last week's reveals. He's here for tonight's game. He's playing against Thomas. And you're actually producing on Thursday because it's the fucking thing.
I heard about this.
Yeah. Paddy's going to get dressed up like Edward Scissorhands and finger Toby.
I do think it's like, I don't feel like the pairing is one designed to be fair or fun.
I think it was Tom's idea
Yeah.
last Thursday, and chat paid for it. So
It's basically like, Toby, do what you hate doing with an army that you don't really know, and it's going to be awful. And Paddy's just going to play exactly how he wants to.
Yeah. Toby's pain.
Yeah.
He's a good sport though. He's prepping for it. He's been doing some research, reading up what you need.
Doing his squats. Yeah.
And so that's the week. Joe's here for the week, and there'll be another Liam and Joe show on Thursday, obviously as well. Which will probably be something slightly more hobby based. Although I don't know what I'm going to do at the moment because I'm in crisis post. Not crisis. I'm lying to you, obviously.
I thought that was you every day.
It is lately. Yeah, I put some more paint the other day on some Deathwing Knights, and I'm actually enjoying it. I don't think I'll have it done by the end of the month. I don't care though because I'm currently enjoying it. But then what happened was last week's Friday reveals came out, and they were fucking incredible from basically front to back. There was one thing I didn't like, two things I didn't like.
Was it the Boner Men?
I didn't not like those.
Yeah.
I wasn't excited by those, but I was like, yeah, they're cool. They look like Bone Reapers. I think they're quite nice. They give you some options. So I liked those Bone Reapers. I didn't not like them. I don't like double-handed Axeman for the Corsairs with all the weird skulls.
He's fine, but his head is derpy as fuck.
The second you start sticking big full-size skulls to the front of armour that's already bulky and rounded, it just looks fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So I don't like him. I don't like Corsair transport gun facing backwards. That's weird. I don't like it. No gun facing forward, gun facing backwards. It's odd, right? That also then makes the Viper, which is, I think, quite nice.
So that to me is the Hornet by another name.
Kind of, yeah.
I think if you own Hornets, you just put them on an oval base and then you're fine. I was talking to Dan. He's got 9 Hornets, and I was like, send 3 my way, because then we don't have to do that.
So I think otherwise the range was incredible. I fucking am utterly and absolutely and completely obsessed with the Heresy Adeptus Custodes update. I think that's
update.
It's fucking incredible.
I do think now is the best Horus Heresy range.
Well, so some people were talking we'll get into the topic, don't worry, we're just letting people come and join us. People were talking pre-release and they were going, Custodes update, and I was like, they don't need it. They have plastic everything. The Guardian kits are all right. I didn't love the Guardian kits, and I couldn't put my finger on why I didn't love the Guardian kits. I quite like the Warden kits, but I didn't like the Guardians. I was like, they don't need it. The Custodes are fine. They're okay. And then they dropped that update, and I saw the Custodian Guard kits, and I went, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
So I was like, they don't need it, they'll be okay. And then they showed it to us, and I was like, that is fucking incredible. And now my concern is Wardens and Alurus Custodians and stuff just don't fit. They don't look right.
So I think they're going for a... So the problem is, Custodes were originally released for Burning of Prospero.
Yep.
That's where we first got Custodes. And then, obviously, the Custodes we have. So I think what this is now is they're 2 very different model ranges. It's to differentiate the 2.
Oh.
So you've got the Horus Heresy Custodes and you've got 40k Custodes. I think they're going to keep them very separate.
I can't see them still selling the old guard kits with the new ones
they
out.
will. You have 40k ones and you have Horus Heresy.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I can't see it happening because I was on Element's website the other day about to buy 3 bikes to put together on Thursday. Sit there and build.
Or Wardens are going to go away.
That concerns me. I've got Wardens built at home. I almost put them in the airbrushing booth.
So when I used to play custodes in 8th and 9th, I just ran wardens as normal custodes. I just thought
So that was my
models
plan.
were
That's what
nicer.
I was going to do. And now the new custodian guard are so nice. You don't need to use the warden models because they've got the robes.
I really want to do a custodes army again because I stopped. I kind of never touched them again because I was like, the model's just a bit poo, And obviously, loads of people have custodes on the channel already.
Yeah,
and
I just think Toby said it yesterday in the gym. I think he's right. He said the thing is with Heresy versus 40k at the moment, specifically around some of the Space Marine stuff, 40k kind of feels like it's going a little bit cartoon anime sort of. Heresy feels like it's a bit more grim, dark, and rough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think he's right, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm being pulled towards the Heresy world.
Yeah.
Because I prefer that aesthetic. Even basic Marines for Heresy with the Mark 2 and 3 and 6 armor just feels a little less cartoony and a little less anime. And I mean, I'm here for it. I really like it. And I think Gaz has put it in chat. Interesting to see the difference in the side-by-side shot and Thanes. There is a noticeable transition from heroic scale and real scale. I love the new real scale. That's probably the proportions of the way they've made them. That's probably the best way I would describe it. It's real scale.
So I was talking to Mr. Josh, Mr. Warhipster. I was saying I think the person that designed the new Stormcast had a hand in the new.
They've just gone from this squatty kind of into this beautiful. I think
because the scale is kind of not the same, but obviously like the realistic shape, but also like the heads. I said all those heads, the male and the female ones, all remind me very similar to the Stormcast one.
Yeah.
I reckon you could probably use the different ones together.
Is it something you care about, female custodians? Give a shit.
I couldn't care less. Right, so I obviously there's a big discussion at the moment.
It is. That's why I thought I'd ask your opinion, Joe.
I am perfectly happy with the female custodes. I just don't like the mishandling of how they brought them in.
Yes, that's exactly what I've said.
Yeah, I don't like the it was done very, very disjointedly, and I kind of think Games Workshop's just like, we're not going to talk about it. We're just gonna hammer through, right? I just listened to Ashes of the Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
Great book, and there's a female custodian.
That's I've just downloaded them.
Great book. It's got female custodians in it, and there's no big fanfare. It's just happening, and that's where we are, right? You know that bit it's kind of like that bit in Iron Man 2 where Rhodey shows up to the hearing to see Tony, and obviously they've changed the actor, and he's like, look, I'm here, deal with it, kind of thing, obviously to Tony, but he's obviously doing it to the audience, and it's just kind of that.
Yeah.
No one cares. And I think the people that are getting really upset with it remind me, obviously I'm a big fan of Finn versus History, and there's a bit where they talk about how old witch hunters used to be, right? Because and they kind of feel like the people that don't like female custodes are the same kind of mindset as like old-fashioned witch hunters. They're like, oh, it makes me feel strange, I don't like it, you're a witch, kind of thing. And I think like they'll move on, They'll find something to get upset about later.
It's been a slightly entertaining and hilarious meltdown. I'm with you, and for everybody who says actually I don't care about them, that's fine. I just don't like the way they're introduced. I'm like, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think Games Workshop didn't do themselves any favours, because I think a lot of the negativity goes away if they spent some real time and effort bringing it in a way in which, and I said to Toby yesterday, right, the narrative out there was once written one time. It was the firstborn sons of noble households. Obviously, subsequently, since the custodians now go out from Terra, they don't just live on Terra as a 10,000. They're taking the fight out to the enemies of the Emperor now, which means their attrition rate is going to be higher. And there is a narrative that you could spin. And I'm not a story writer. I'm not an Aaron Dempsey Bowden. I'm not Dan Abnett. So this is going to be a really weak narrative. But they've run out of firstborn sons, so now they're taking firstborn daughters is not necessarily something that's completely unbelievable. So write a cool story, get an author like Dan or Aaron Dempsey Bowden to write it, release a book at the same time as a commemorative miniature specifically for that particular female custodian. Everybody's happy. Yeah. Well, not everybody's happy. You'll still get some virgins getting really upset in the corner.
It's like,
and claiming that it's some kind of mad political virtue signaling.
It was like, next year you'll see female custodes in the Amazon series, and I'm like, I mean, I can already think of the best person to play a female custodes. That's the lady that played Brienne of Tarth from
yeah.
Game of Thrones. Just her as a custodes, I would not be upset by. You know, like it's just how you handle things, and if you handle things right, people like it.
Soup says the whole thing about needing new recruits is literally what they've said in the last article. Yeah, I know, but this whole issue started months ago, right? When they released that narrative. Is
it the Hammer and Bolter one?
Yeah, that's the
Gwendolyn
one.
Christie, thank you.
The video series, right?
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, because you just said, am I the only one that reads those articles? The problem with Warcom now is it's full of so much shit that you might be one of the only people who reads all the articles.
You know, I just read it for the pictures. You know?
but although they've done it now, the problem is when they first introduced it a long time ago, there was that one fucking intern on the social media account who shot Games Workshop firmly in the foot by replying to someone who wasn't particularly happy about it and saying it's always been like this. Like, it hasn't always been like that. That's the triggering point. What they did, unfortunately, at that particular moment is they gave ammunition. They gave what I would consider logical ammunition to some of the illogical. And they had a reason to argue with them and tell them why they think it's bollocks.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's now old news. It's been like that. It has been like that for a little while now. And now it's like, it's a thing.
The problem is like, I would say like different factions in Warhammer represent different things, right? So like orcs, like London football fans, right? You know, stuff like that. Like dwarfs is just the Warhammer community. You've upset me. Into the book of grudges it goes.
Yeah.
You know, just hammer and chisels in like one bad tweet, as they've said. That, you know, they said one thing on a tweet, we'll never forget it. You know.
Yeah.
And it never gets rubbed out. It's always there. You know?
Yeah. Anyway, you know, I'll go as far as to say the last thing I'll say on it, and I've said it a million times already as well, is that if you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to like it. But for every person who doesn't like it, someone does like it. And ultimately, with the way that the custodian kit's been designed, if you really don't like it, but you still want to play custodians, guess what? Don't glue the women's heads in.
Yeah.
Use the helmets.
They've done a really good job with those custodian kit in the same way they did the Cities of Sigmar models. So the custodes armor is obviously built to their specific body shape, right? But the body shapes aren't feminine. You've just got absolutely fucking powerhouse models in there, and you've got quite slender, thinner ones. So like the shield captain, just a very tall and thin model. So you just put a male head on it, right?
Exactly.
Same thing for like the Cities of Sigmar. You've just got a load of different body shapes, and you just bang whatever head on you want.
Yep, exactly.
Just move on.
The bonus with having things in armor is you can hide entirely what gender they are, and
I think like
just decide with the head.
There is a long way to go for things like just like representation. You know, I like Cities of Sigmar because I'm represented. Just big fat bearded people. It's not all just one big. I told
Chap that last night on the hobby show.
Yeah,
I literally said that Joe had categorically stated that one of the reasons why he loves cities is because he was painting a fat bearded man and felt represented. Yeah. Literally said that yesterday.
Yeah, you know, we like to do war too, you know, with a crossbow or a gun at the back. But I think that model range is great. Obviously, we'll talk about the Chaos War. I think the Eldar range is incredible.
The Corsair stuff, the Eldar Corsair stuff is really nice. Yeah. Really nice. And I'm an Eldar fan. I think it's beautiful. It's not something that, for me personally, as a Craftworld fan, because I never really delved into Drukhari. As a Craftworld fan, it's not something that makes me go, that's what I'm doing next.
I've got a bunch of the Corsair Void's Guard sprues, which I want to get done up because obviously then they can go in both the Eldar and the Drukhari. So like I'd like to get some done just to have them because I think they'll be able to fit in both armies fine. You don't have to do a full army because currently you could put 500 points into Eldar because you could put 500 points into Drukhari. So if that stays the same, you don't have to paint much.
Yeah.
You don't have to own much.
And they are pretty.
They are really pretty. I didn't really care about the Boner Men. It's not. The problem is like the problem with the Aussie Bone Reapers is they've all got massive bum chins.
That's one of the.
I can't see past it.
That's one of the biggest aesthetic designs that puts me off them.
And I'm like,
the bum chins.
Why bum chins? And I just think they look a bit goofy, especially when you've got like Soulblight Gravelords, right? Which are classic kind of like stop animation kind of skeletons. Like they just look great. So the Boner Men, I've got a bunch of Boner Men in the garage to build and paint. I know Toby's doing a Boner Man army, so I might just go.
Yeah,
Toby.
Do you want them?
Do you want them?
Yeah.
What was the other one? I'm excited about the Disciples of Zinch.
He's a
really nice model.
He's a
but
beautiful
the
little model.
terrain piece, the floating. I said into our group chat at the time, I said I want like 5 of them because I would be talking to Toby. I said I like the idea of having a demon world, and those things like attached to like hills or like attached to buildings and stuff could be great for 40k and Age of Sigmar. Because you get a bunch of the big Chaos Gates and then have them and the floating things. It'll look awesome.
I was super hyped for the High Elf Kill team, Bullet Bowl team.
That looks really cool.
I love that.
Although, if you're like a, I don't know the terms for American football, right? But if you're like a runner, like if your job is to run,
A running back,
run very, very fast, having a massive fucking Dragon Prince helmet on, it's not going to help speed. That's going to slow you down.
Right.
The white, but they look great. Right, they look good. But I was like, that helmet, he's going to like get whiplash. The moment he goes for a sprint, getting knocked back. The white lions look cool. The rest of it look really cool.
But let's talk about the topic. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Toby and I did a stream last week about chaos, even though Joe wasn't here, and we talked about like why there's a problem and they're not scary and stuff like that. And one of the things I've always found, and we specifically focused on kind of their rules and what have you, and the fact they just don't seem to receive the same amount of love as their loyalist brothers do. We talked about the fact that they have AP1 damage 2 or AP2 damage 1 and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that they have the only faction ability that requires you to take mortal wounds really to get anything semi-decent where everyone just gets that as a rule and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. What we didn't really touch on last week is about aesthetic. We touched on, I think, a little bit, and we've talked about it before. I always struggle with the Chaos aesthetic because some of the Chaos models I see, I think they're stunningly beautiful. Some of them that I see, not so much. I hate a lot of the vehicles with just add spikes. I've never liked that. I don't like that at all. I hate it when there's. I know this sounds silly, but I hate it when there's like big fucking horns coming out through helmets and stuff like that. Because I'm like, it doesn't. Anyway, it's just stuff I don't like, right? So one of the reasons why I've been utterly obsessed with the Khorne Berserker kit since they released it is, and I've said categorically, I think it's one of the best Chaos Space Marine kits they've ever made, is because you don't have that nonsense. You don't have all these spikes everywhere. Have a bit of trim. I thought they were stunning. Chaos Space Marines as a standard unit, you've built a load of them. I haven't. I don't love them. I think they're okay. I think they're fine. And then they brought out Corsairs. And I think, for me personally, having seen that release on Friday, the Red Corsair release is possibly the best version of Chaos Space Marines in terms of everything aesthetically that they've ever done.
Yes. The Renegade Space, the vibe is everything Chaos Space Marine players want their army to be. Because, like, I think that the current Chaos Space Marine Rangers is pre that. I think they've gone too far. You know, obviously, like they had, what was the mini wargaming game? The Void?
Ravage Star?
Ravage Star. I personally didn't like the Chaos from Ravage Star because it went too far, you know? They looked like there was so much detail, there's so much stuff going on. They basically looked like chaos made out of trees.
Dave was very much kid in a candy shop when he was allowed to design those.
It was too much. It went too far. And I think like the Chosen kit was the last proper kit to come out, I think. Obviously we know that the Raptors Warp Talons are coming, but like I think they've gone too far over the top.
Yeah.
I think there is space for that overly baroque, well-trimmed armor, but I think there needs to be more choice in the kit, whether you have tentacles or not, you know, whether you have belly mouth or not. because depending on what warband you go for, they don't like. Some just don't like the gods. So like Night Lords don't like the Chaos Gods. They actively shun them. You know, obviously some people go down the Khorne route, but they choose not to. And I personally, I don't like the belly mouths and the shoulder tentacles and stuff.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So like, and I think a lot of the Chaos community doesn't like it either. And I think Games Workshop started to realize that because when they look at Chaos armies out in the wild, they've got Horus Heresy shoulder pads. They've got old marks of shoulder pads. They've got
But if you look at
get rid of it.
You look at the Berserker. In fact, actually, if you look at pretty much the whole Emperor's Children range, they were definitely a step in the right direction for Chaos Space Marine
I
models.
love that model range. It's great.
It's beautiful, right? All of it's beautiful. And now they've brought out Huron and his lads. Let's touch on the Raiders kit first. That Raiders kit is, I would want to use that as my Chaos Space Marine kit because it's just so much nicer.
I was going through my garage this weekend sorting stuff out, and I was going through old bits boxes that have old Space Marine helmet marks and stuff in, so I can because I've got loads of Legionnaires right on sprue, loads. I'm like, I need to find all the different shoulder pads, all the bolt guns, everything. Also, the immense lack of trim. So good.
There is a fair amount of trim, but I think you need some because you have to break up armor.
But the trim is a bar that goes all the way around, whereas the standard Chaos trim is a bar that has a spike and then goes back in, and a bar and then like a little spike, and then there's like a tooth on it. And then it goes round. There's like there's like too much going on. This is just a lot of it's just simple, just like around.
Yeah,
done. It's really nice. I think it's very classy.
Yeah.
It's classy Marines.
It's just a bit cleaner, and it just looks like I looked at them, and you're like, they are definitely Space Marines. They're just a bit evil Space Marines.
Yeah, and they've got like a nice. They did say, I do think there's going to be a rules problem.
Okay.
Created by the new Raider kit. Right, so quite clearly, because me and Tom were discussing this when I was looking through all the pictures of the new Raider kit. It's all the pictures are just the same 10-man squad over and over and over again, and there's a plasma gun, or I think it's a melter gun. There's a melter gun, a power fist, 2 power swords, a hand flamer, some bolt pistol chainsaws, and some bolt guns. Right, so. Obviously, they don't show any other kind of variations.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it's going to be a 5-man squad or only a 10-man squad. They've said it infiltrates, which is really good because Chaos Space Marines will be screaming for that for an entire edition. But apart from the single power fist and the melter gun, it's all AP1, AP2 damage 1, right? So again, it falls into the same problem of like combat-wise, but also. They said there are 3 wounds. So toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 up save, I'm assuming. They're just chosen. But so I'm going to assume they're going to be less points than chosen. So.
And battle line.
And I don't know if they said they are battle line or not.
Surely they'll be battle line.
They might be battle line. I mean, Emperor's Children ones do a similar job in their battle line. So my issue is. What then happens to Chosen?
Yeah, from a rules perspective, I get
it. From a rules perspective, Chosen are 280 points.
Yeah.
For what is essentially the same unit as what we're going to get, apart from their power sword. They all get power swords, right? So it's like, what do you do with them? I think Games Workshop needs to make Chosen all damage too.
I agree.
Yeah, because they're just shit sword brethren. Because sword brethren, you can have 10 and they're cheaper.
Yeah.
And sword brethren have 1 less attack. They all hit on 2s. They all have lethals, and they're all damage too.
But yeah, I think the rule where they place them in rules is going to be important. They'll either make them not usable or a broken unit that everyone wants.
Yeah, and I think the thing is though, like when I look at the new Raider unit, like they say they've got 3 wounds and they infiltrate. So I'm like, I'm taking 2 units of 5 minimum.
But specifically, this was about the aesthetic as well, and I think aesthetically they got it perfect. They just got just the right balance of like pirate chaos and Space Marine.
So what I'm going to do now is I've got a bunch of Alpha Legion heads at home from Forge World. So using the unit composition of the pictures, I'm going to convert up a squad and paint them as Alpha Legion. Because if they produce the same thing. But the idea that I can now just bang in a bunch of the Stern Guard Space Marine heads I already have and some generic Space Marine shoulder pads and they represent perfectly Space Marines in the Night Lords books, which I love, where someone's died, steal all their stuff.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful. And then obviously, although I started on the Raiders, what they started off showing us right at the beginning was Huron and his kind of squad, right? And I will add a slight confession. I don't like double-handed Axeman, like I said at the start of the show. I think that he looks a bit dumb. I think the second you take a power-armoured body and you start sticking full-size skulls to the side in front of it, it just looks stupid.
I'll tell you what his problem is. It's not what they've stuck onto him. It's his pose. Both legs are perfectly straight, down, right? His stomach's stock right, and his arms held. The axe is held perfectly flat. He looks like a CAD design, right? Because I was like, if you lift a leg, put him on a tactical rock, at least it makes sense. Or you twist his torso so it looks and move a leg forward so it looks like he's moving forward to swing. I think the model is fine. I don't like the head, but the pose I think is what kills it.
But
static.
The rest of the unit as well, I'm like, that's a Chaos Space Marine command squad.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Right? You've got this big fucking Chaos Lord, there's a human, there's an abhuman, there's a sorcerer. That's a Chaos Space Marine command squad. That's what I picture, that's what I envision.
I really like floaty drone lady.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's really cool. Because they said that the back, because obviously 500 Worlds has boarding actions and stuff in it. So the idea that she just floats around on her little drone telling people what to do.
That pose never works, Dogmata, exactly. It doesn't. Honestly. I just think that command squad with the Raiders as well is just the one thing I think they've dropped the ball on, and maybe they haven't dropped the ball on, they just haven't shown it off yet, is I was expecting to see new Chaos Space Marine bikers.
I reckon that'll come next edition.
Yeah, that's where I think they might just be holding off.
Yeah, because I really like Croctobot.
Croctobot is great.
Croctobot. Basically, I saw it. I immediately thought of it. There's an episode of Rick and Morty where there's a robot crocodile, and they look identical. And I was like, the memes will come soon, and the internet did not disappoint. So I love him, and now I kind of want a unit of them. Of called Croctobots.
If you listen to the thing is, if you listen to anything narratively about Chaos Space Marines, right, and you listen to command squads and the bridge and what's going on the ships and stuff like that, it isn't just Astartes. It never is. There's humans and there's fucking aliens and there's all sorts. There's Xenos, and I think this is the first time that's actually been represented quite well from a command squad's perspective.
And what I really like is that the obviously they're giving you this unit that can be used in any Chaos Space Marine army, which they said, right? Literally just slot into your existing army, or you can make a new one. There's so much background lore to all of these kind of characters existing in other Chaos Space Marine factions. And I was like, I have the models at home. I could probably make that unit for Night Lords. I could literally just immediately make the entire character range from the Night Lords books, and they're going to have rules. And I think it's great.
First time Court of the Archon. Court of the Archon isn't really Chaos Space Marines, though, Ben, is it? So that doesn't really work.
But Court of the Archon's going to come back, right? Obviously, Huron is basically Titus Dark, right? He's the evil version of the one they've released. I reckon we'll start to see more command squads coming for different factions.
Well, so Titus was one of the more recent new ones.
Yeah. Titus
and his retinue, which I actually love. I think is a great box. And then we've got Huron and his retinue, and I'm like, I like this. I like that direction. So maybe the Court of the Archon comes back with a range refresh.
Yeah, but you might see Eldar, a Warlock Conclave.
Or a Seer Council.
Yeah. You know, Court of the Archon. Necrons have their own kind of like actual royal court kind of vibe going on. You might see old, like a Tyranid one come back. There's so much room for these kind of units to come in that people just love. And
Chaos Apothecary looks cool though. I saw that Apothecary, Ed, and I was like, Butcher Surgeon. Immediate Butcher Surgeon. Well used.
Yeah, I think because obviously there was rumours floating around for a Butcher Surgeon for ages.
You reckon that's him?
I think people saw him and thought he was going to be the Butcher Surgeon. You know the Valrak spy, like, who's clearly feeding him information from inside. So he's clearly seen that and gone, Butcher Surgeon's coming.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of these retinues having random off-faction models, honestly. But they're not random off-faction. They're random off-faction for all the models you could buy for that army for the last 10 years. But in the narrative, they're not off-faction at all.
No.
They're all present.
Yeah, and I think, like, this is like what's happening now, I think, is Games Workshop's new direction of going, people really like the narrative and the lore. Let's give them that.
Let's let them do it on the tabletop.
Yeah.
I'm in.
But we've said at the start of this edition, all the way through, right, and you've said it and I've said it, is that the game, a lot of the factions feel really sterile.
Yeah.
And very bland and don't have flavour.
Well.
Right? But 10th edition is lost. They've cleared out the rooms of all the resin. They've pushed that all into old world. Resin, you go live there now. They've cleared out the closets. They've cleared out the gutters, and now they're going. Now you have all the cool shit.
Yeah.
And I think 11th edition could potentially be the best edition for releases ever.
Well.
And I'll die on that.
What I'm also interested to see what happens is what happens with some of what they've spoken about very recently, right? And that is in an article that was posted on the 16th of January around New Year preview, entire Lair of the Tyrant. They covered this article off. It's on Warcom, right? And I'll take you down a few paragraphs. It talks about lots of different, it's an expansion pack, the extensive background lore book covers, blah, blah, blah. Nobody points in earning titles to prove themselves the greatest captain of all, etc. Only the most courageous and capable of champions can survive the brutality of this warp storm, so you'll need to create one of your own to lead you to victory in the Crucible of Champions book, also included in the slipcase. This is one of the most exciting additions to Warhammer 40,000 in ages, giving you a flexible set of rules for creating your own character units and leading your army with a hero of your own making. It then goes on to say, trust us, you can make some amazing characters, including but not limited to a Ravenwing Librarian on a bike, a Rogue Trader with 2 Inferno pistols, a Krutox Rider with a rail rifle, an Astra Militarum officer in a Sentinel, a Psychic Tyranid artillery beast, or a Grot with big ideas. And the list goes on. There's tons to do in this book, and the characters you create are great fits for the mayhem of a raid and ruin campaign. Better still, dedicated Corsairs will have some especially shiny plunder to acquire as a beautiful collector's edition, blah, 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 and it carries on, right? But I wanted to read that snippet out. That was important to me because I think that's a big change as well. I think that's a big change too. We've come from you can make your own shit all the way down to no, you can't. And now it's almost like they're going back. We made a cock up there.
Yeah.
Because do you know what? If you have rule, and this is what I've never understood, because I've always said this, right? Games Workshop are in the realms of making money. Okay.
Yeah.
They care about making money. That's all they care about, right? So that what they said there, the first one they said there, a Ravenwing Librarian on a bike. Okay, has that model ever existed?
No.
So when someone wants to make that model, what have they got to do?
They have to buy a librarian and cut it in half.
So and then add it to
an Outrider bike
that they've had to buy.
Yeah.
So when someone wants to build a librarian on a bike, they've got to buy 2 kits to make 1 kit. So let people do that.
Yeah.
Now, I can only imagine that this has all come from legalities around things like printing. So if they're selling rules for a librarian on a bike, but they don't make the model, then a person prints a librarian on a bike. Can Games Workshop go after them? Questionable. I don't know the legalities on it, but I'm assuming that's where it's come from. If we don't create a model for it, and someone else then creates a model for it, can we go after them? I don't know. But I've always felt like one of the things I've missed in the last few editions is that ability to go and make some of these characters that don't exist otherwise.
Like for someone like myself who likes converting models, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I want to have a commissar in a sentinel.
That's fucking cool as shit, right?
Yeah.
I love that kind of concept. So let us know what you think. I'd love to know what you guys think of the Red Corsair stuff. Specifically, we touched on Custodians yesterday, obviously. Stick it on postcards. I'm very interested to hear what you guys think about that article. That's quite interesting because I think that's fucking cool. And if you want to support the channel, support the show, support Joe and I, then you can gift memberships.
It's something that we could do on the channel.
What?
Like, have a series of games where we've all had our own created...
Yeah, well, I mean,
characters.
Those kinds of rules and stuff like that is stuff that I would be excited for content.
Yeah.
Honestly. Campaigns with your own named characters, not some 600 point named character from a novel.
I can't wait to see what Paddy makes because it'll be broken as shit.
Yeah, but my point remains though, right? Some officer in a sentinel versus some like custom chaos lord on a bike versus some blood angels, etc., etc. That's a cooler narrative than Abaddon versus Dante versus Gazgul versus Eldrad.
Like something like the ability to actually make a White Scars Khan on a bike that's not a named character.
Right.
You know?
I miss that so much. And that's the sort of shit I'd be really fucking into. Really into. And the fact that I can, even, like, you're right what you say, like, currently the only HQ option for Ravenwing at the moment is Samael.
Yeah.
Obviously you've got the Ravenwing Command Squad, but really it's Samael. So the fact that you might be able to put a Space Marine captain on a bike, although there is chaplains, I guess, but you can put a captain on a bike, you can put a librarian on a bike, and you can go, my full everyone's on a bike list is actually feasible again.
Yeah.
That is, I think, phenomenal. What I'd love to know is whether this is going to carry on to 11th edition and whether they're going to be playable competitively in how they do it, because there's got to be a way of making points.
I can't see them going into the realms of competitive unless they actually put captain on a bike as an option.
Ed's put, so is that a hint Wargear points might return? That's my curiosity, Ed, because that I really want back. That's why because logically they're going to go, cool, so a librarian is 65 points, but if you put him on a bike, it's going to be 20 points, or a jump pack is going to be 15 points or whatever, and if you give him this, it's going to be this many points. Logically, the only way they do it is by giving you points, so you can structure your points and go, that's what I've made. Good.
Do you reckon they'll allow Emperor's Children to have more units?
Maybe you can make...
That'd be like, no.
Yeah, maybe you make your own Chaos Lord from Emperor's Children, I don't know. I doubt it, though. So, I'd love to know. It's... That fucking really excites me. Anyway, like I said, if you want to support us more, you can become a member of the channel if you've got a grey name in chat, or you can be gifting members. We've got 15 in already. We've been hitting targets. You don't want to miss it the first day that Joe's back. You give the man a complex.
Don't do it on purpose, don't worry.
You've all said you missed him. There's 285 people watching right now. If you'll gift 5 members, we'll probably hit the target.
So I want compulsory battle. I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think it will happen, but I agree I want it back.
Only, I would agree, but only if there are characters that make specific units battle line. So if you take a Terminator captain, he makes generic Terminators battle line. If you take a captain with a jump pack, he makes Assault Marines battle line. I think that's fine, but when they go, you must spend points on battle line, it becomes unfair, I think, for armies that don't have cheap battle line options. So like Chaos Space Marines, I'm happy to take a unit of battle line for 50 points of cultists,
Guardsman squad,
but a Custodians player has to spend 150 to 200 points on a unit of Custodian Guard.
Yeah, but Custodian Guard are also significantly better in the game than
but that's the
cultists.
problem, right? Like if you're forced to take battle line that's shit, I don't really like gaunts.
Because the dragon says compulsory battle line, but detachments and characters that can make things battle line. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. So I'd almost go back to old combined arms. Yeah, HQ2 troop choices, mandatory, but add in Joe's caveat. You take a captain on a bike, you can take bikes as infantry. or perhaps or battle line, I should say, or perhaps if you're playing Raven Wing, you take bikes as infantry as battle line. If you've got a captain on a jump pack, assault intercessors with jump packs become battle line.
Consumer like stuff like full Terminator armies should still be possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you take a Spirit Seer, then suddenly Wraithguard and Wraithblades become battle line. Things like that, I think, is what I would love to see. I think it's reasonable. I think it's unreasonable to do that. That'd be amazing.
But no, I think this is very much Joe's year of chaos.
I mean, it's arguably already a slightly better year of chaos than last year was.
I mean, it started off well when they dropped 4 on. It started off well, but also at the same time after Christmas releasing 4 army boxes for chaos was super weird, right? But ultimately, if you're an Emperor's Children player and you've never had to buy an individual box or anything because they just keep doing these army boxes for Emperor's Children. But no, I think we're off to a good start. But also at the same time, I'm like, are we getting all this Chaos Space Marine stuff now? Because once 11th drops in the summer, there's going to be no more Chaos Space Marine stuff for the rest of the year.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Do you think so Games Workshop have basically categorically stated this is not going to be the case, but can you see specifically things like the Achilles Dreadnought and the Caladius tanks not being usable in 11th edition?
I reckon they're going.
You reckon they go?
I reckon they're going.
I reckon they stay, chat.
I think they're going to go because everything that's gone from resin to plastic throughout this entire edition has left 40k.
Not true.
Apart from the Knights.
Nice.
Right? The Knights are the exception to the rule. So I think we might see the Custodian Guard you'll still be able to use because Games Workshop want their game systems to be separate, right? They don't want cross-pollination. They don't want you to be able to buy Custodes and play 2 games, right?
Yeah, but
they want you to go...
But you can do it with demons.
Demons are but demons they kind of tried to get rid of, right? So demons in Age of Sigmar now, you can have mono god demons, right? Or if you take Be'lakor, you have a selection of demons, but you can't take many, right? So they've gone in your lane, right? In Age of Sigmar. In 40k, they haven't had to codex this entire edition because let's be honest, they were trying to get rid of them, right? Trying to reduce you wanting to use them. They put mono god demons in the chaos codexes and did a really shit job of it, right?
They did.
Right. A very, very bad job. So fuck knows what's happening with demons next edition. I think demons as a faction are going to get they're either going to go away, which I think will be the worst decision Games Workshop ever made, or the demon range is going to get a full refresh, right? To be not mono god. They're just demons, demon infantry, demon elite, demon cavalry, demon prince, just stuff like that. And then the mono god stuff stays specifically in the codexes. I hope they just do a better job of mixing them together, because having a shit demon detachment, terrible. And then obviously in Heresy, you have Demons of the Ruin Storm, which is, they've actually started to release specific demon resin kits.
I think the Heresy units that they've now released in these new plastic kits are going to just they're just going to go in. So if I thought they were staying as Imperial Armor entrances, then I would agree they're going to go away. I think they're going to go into the Custodian's Codex and they'll flesh it out. I think they'll flesh it out.
I don't see them doing it.
I think it's far too popular a faction in 40k for them to not do it. They're just going to make too much money. I cannot see them if they've gone plastic for Custodians specifically. If it was a vast and huge model range like Space Marines, I'd agree. Get all the Forge World options, go fine. But it's not. Custodians, if you take out that Forge World stuff, Custodians have got Guard, Wardens, Bikes, Sisters, a Rhino, a Land Raider, a Dreadnought.
But realistically, like most custodies armies that you see competitively now, like at events, don't have the forge-world units in them.
They don't, no, granted, but that's just to do with unit balance, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think
so that will change if they get a new codex in 11th edition. What is taken will inevitably change because they'll change the rules and they'll make tweaks, and it might be like, well, wardens aren't worth it anymore. I'm not taking 10 wardens now. I'm going to go back to taking custodian guard because I get more for my points, and that's what's going to happen in any codex that comes out. So I can't. Although the forge units, you're right, you don't really see them right now. Although I'm thinking about taking 2 of the tanks to Beachhead. Although you're right, you don't really see them right now. I think that if they go into the codex and have their rules that then get balanced, because the company clearly looks at internal balance and goes, I can't believe that winged demon princes are the only thing carrying Emperor's Children's players. Let's just nerf them. That's what they did. Ultimately, I think that there's a possibility that they'll flesh the range out, because I don't think there's enough in there at the moment. Because what you also do, there will be people out there. I put money on that. There'll be people out there that have got a full Custodians army and 40k that's all plastic, and they haven't got any Forge World things because I don't like resin. So do you know what happens when you make them all plastic and still give them rules? You give those Custodians players reasons to expand their armies all over again.
Yeah, but then it's like if you look at AdMech, right? They're in a very similar situation in the sense that like they took like that none of the AdMech stuff that's been released in plastic in Horus Heresy has gone to 40k.
Yeah, but AdMech in Heresy versus AdMech in 40k has always been very, very different. Custodians in Heresy versus Custodians in 40k has always been very, very same. So because that's just the way. Because the Adeptus Mechanicus or the Cult Mechanicus before it was the Adeptus Mechanicus, I think in Heresy is such a different aesthetic and such a different vibe. I don't think those two ranges would mix well together. I don't think if you started putting Thalax and Castellax battle automata in with Skitarii Rangers and fucking Castellan robots, I don't think it looks right. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. I think personally the Heresy Mechanicum range is just flat nicer in every aspect.
Yes.
Is my personal opinion, but Custodians is also Cavil's army. Don't want to piss him off right now. Well, yeah, there's that as well, right? Yeah. So I just don't see it. I don't think they're going to go away. I think they're going to stay. I just thought I'd ask because I didn't, you know.
I personally think it's going to go away because they don't want cross pollination. Yeah. It's like everything in Age of Sigmar that's old world. Every time a new battle tome comes out, where the index has old world units in it, they've gone, right? They've been removed because they don't want the dual purpose. So like the next, the one I think realistically you're looking at is Seraphon. Haven't had a book yet, have they?
I don't know.
Seraphon.
I haven't kept up with it.
And Sea Sigmar are the next ones. So I think they're slowly like pushing stuff out.
Maybe. I can't. I don't know why with Custodians, but I can't see it. And I do think about the Knight range and the fact that they kept all the Heresy Knights in there, and I'm like, well, it's not too far off similar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So not true with Skaven. They kept shitty Knight. Because dragons, Skaven in Old World isn't a faction. It's a Legends army. That's why it hasn't gone. Because I don't think Games Workshop have any. So at the moment, timeline-wise, with the release of Cathay, right, and where that's going in the Siege from the Northmen, timeline-wise, that'll push through to Russian polar bear people. Kislev, right? And then from Kislev, you'll have the northern push down to the First War of Prague, where we'll hopefully start to see new Empire stuff. But that's where you get what's his fucking name?
Dave, Frank,
no,
Jim.
The First War of Prague brings in Matt
Damon?
Magnus the Pious.
No, not Matt Damon.
Right.
Matt Damon.
I think that's the timeline-wise we'll get. So the First World Prague, we have Magnus the Pious come in. So Skaven don't appear until after the pushback of that. So you might find in Old World 2nd or 3rd edition, Skaven will come in. But yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Obviously, they've got
right.
lizard men and old.
We're now an hour. We're half past 2 in the afternoon, which we jump into chat.
We haven't mentioned Iron Warriors.
Oh, because we haven't really got anything to go by. We've got an
Warriors.
obvious tease.
Well, what do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I'd like to see an update of. This sounds like a silly thing to say because they're not that old. I'd like to see an update of the Obliterator models.
So we haven't got a multi-part kit.
Right. So I'd like to see a multi-part
kit.
I'd say a multi-part Obliterator kit. Maybe Mutilator's return as well.
A dual box.
Yeah.
So I reckon those pictures, because you've got 2 over-the-shoulder weapons.
Yeah.
I think they are from an Obliterator Mutilator kit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the foot that they showed off is an Obliterator foot.
I'd like to see. I think we'll see that. I think maybe a character of some sort,
I think
a Forge Father.
I think the hammer is a character, but not Perturabo.
I don't think it's Perturabo.
No. I think we'll get a new Defiler, and if we get new Obliterators, we'll get a multi-part Venom Crawler. Because that currently isn't a kit. Because when you buy Obliterators, the Venom Crawler comes with it.
That's reasonable. Okay.
So I think we'll get multi-part kits of both.
I think we'll see Perturabo eventually.
Oh yeah.
But what was shown off on the end of that particular, I don't think any of those images were Perturabo, but I think people might be collecting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've just done a terrible design job of him.
I'm interested to see whether Iron Warriors get their own individual unit, because that shoulder pad, the pose, the bolt gun, the bolt pistol in that picture is the one from the Legionnaire set. So whether it's just an upgrade kit or their own specific unit, I'd like it to be both, because the Night Lord's kit is basically like 2 or 3 sprues, and one's the stabby people, but one's very much just an upgrade sprue. So I think we'll get that eventually.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Right, I'm going to jump in chat now because we are an hour into the show, as we always do. We're currently on 16 members chat, right, which is really shit for us, especially when we want to go and have something to eat later, and we haven't, So if you could get gifted,
you going out for food? Are you?
No.
Oh,
but I still need to be paid in the end of November, at the end of February, so I can pay all of us,
makes sense.
Yourself included. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys are enjoying the show, if you like the content, if you like what we do here, think about gifting some memberships. Just throw money at us. You can send it in brown envelopes to the PO box, as Joe keeps telling you to.
We have got a PayPal.
No one's done that yet. We have got a PayPal, exclamation mark PayPal. Or what you can do is you can just get gifting. And gifting is amazing because it gives other people access to certain parts of the channel, it gives other people access to the wider Discord community. It's just like a generous way of supporting us, and it feeds us and funds us as well. So if you are interested, there is nearly 300 people watching right now. If every single one of you in chat at this very moment in time, pick up your phone, press the little $sign, gift a single membership, $4.99. That's it. Single membership. And then we'll smash through our targets for the day, and then we can just worry about being entertaining. In the meantime, we can say thank you to Luke Piewalker for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Mr. Luke Piewalker. I hope that you get a year's worth of cinema tickets to your local cinema.
It's quite a sensible Joe, Hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
The new Avengers film's coming out on my birthday.
I know, yeah.
I'm well excited.
It's December, don't get too excited.
Yeah, it's a bit away. But someone pointed out, right? So if Magnus the Pious comes out and the burning of Prague, right? Do you know what comes up? They said it, but you probably missed it. Do you know what comes up after the War of Prague? The destruction of Mordheim. Which means we could get a Mordheim game, like probably next year, I imagine.
Cool. Plague of Shadows, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, you beautiful Texan.
I hope that you get horse riding lessons.
I think he already rides horses.
Yeah? Well, I hope you get better.
Okay, fair. Yeah. Cray, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I
Yeah,
hope,
right.
Craig, that you get to be a participant on the new Fallout reality game show. You heard about that?
I've heard about the reality game show. I didn't know how true it was or how
Well,
real it is.
I hope it is real. You get to do it.
Bradley says, do you guys use army painted paints at all? How does it compare to Citadel? I use army painted matte black, and even actually I don't really use that anymore. I use Corvus black now, so I would say no, I don't use army paint. Do you use army paint at all?
I've used some of their war paints, which are good. But through an airbrush, to do things like yellows and blues and stuff. I've not used army painter paint for a long. I used it on some bolt action stuff like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was terrible. But I know they've had a massive refresh. Right, I've heard good things. Meda's Miniatures on YouTube, all of his Horus Heresy painting tutorials are all done with army painter paints. So if you're looking for advice, then he's a good person to look up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, you wonderful human beings, for those 15 gifted, by the way. Cray also then chucked us a blue one and said, just getting here, did we talk about new Red Corsairs amazingly blending the current Space Marines and the previous Firstborn look? They kind of do. They kind of do. They kind of do what they should have done when they released Primaris, I think. But
yeah, it's really good.
But that being said, right, and this is kind of relevant because of the Custodies chat. When Primaris came out, there was fucking outrage because of how the narrative was handled, right?
Yeah.
It was outrageous how it was handled, and people fucking kicked off all over the place, and people threatened to quit the hobby and quit Space Marines. And that was back in 8th edition or whatever it was. And now, all these editions on, nobody bats a fucking eyelid at Primaris Marines.
I just think the problem is that Games Workshop in the past have been somewhat tone deaf to their community.
Yeah, fair.
And they just come out with got this idea. This is what's happening now. And everyone's gone like, did you consult or talk to anyone about this before? Nope, we're doing it now. That's what the thing is now. And everyone's like, it's quite jarring how they do these things and how they handle it. But since that release, they did the same thing with Age of Sigmar, where they've gone, we've done this thing, here's a really kind of mediocre explanation why, and then they spend the next 3 to 5 years padding that out. And now we're kind of okay with it, you know? I think Games Workshop, what they need to do is just learn to handle things better.
Yeah, communication.
You know? Yeah.
But then communication's been a problem with them for a very long time. It's better than it was 20 years ago. It's still not good.
Do you know what I really like about the new Red Corsairs kit?
Yeah.
Pelts.
I knew you liked the pelts.
Because I've kind of been wanting to do Space Wolves for a while. And, I feel like the new Red Corsair kits are going to scratch a bit of that itch.
Yeah.
To the point where, I was looking at Arjak and Logan as the kind of foundational base for a Red Corsair's Terminator Captain or Terminator Lord.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Arjak's got no pelts.
Yeah, but the Wolfguard battle leader that comes in the Terminators.
He's the sergeant.
He's not a battle leader, the sergeant.
The guy with the big axe.
He's got a cool pelt going on.
Yeah, he
as
has.
well. And I was like,
yeah,
maybe that kit would make a really good Red Corsairs type. But I really like the guy who's got the shoulder holster bolt pistol. Also, one thing that grips my shit every time I see it, and it makes me angry, is the people that keep calling the bolt gun scope on one of those guys a lightsaber. It really annoys me. It's not a lightsaber. It's a scope.
What if it's a lightsaber, though?
It's not a lightsaber.
What if it is?
Because it looks exactly like every other bolt gun scope that Games Workshop.
What if all the bolt gun scopes are lightsabers?
Just top-mounted lightsaber?
No, you're not having that one?
No. But the other one I did is the paint strip across the face. Big fan of that as well. I think it's quite cool.
War paint.
The heads are what I do like about the new stuff is that the heads aren't shit, right? Because most of the bear heads in Emperor's Children all terrible and I hate them. So all the bear heads in my Emperor's Children are just generic other Space Marine heads, like bear heads from like the Intercessor squads and stuff. The World Eaters heads are fine. Like they're just normal men.
Yeah, just innocent men.
Just normal innocent men. You know, they're not like got like extra teeth or like tentacle or just a massive fucking donger coming out of their ear. They're just...
Some of them are a bit emo-y, but I don't care because they look kind of badass.
Yeah.
They are fucking gorgeous.
They're just good heads. Just like, but like compared to like other ones where they're just like all mangled and silly.
They're just good models. I want them. I want to do Red Corsairs. I love them so much. I think they're perfect chaos. Actually perfect chaos. I'm looking at them now. Actually perfect chaos. Interestingly, when you put the shoulder pads and heads on Chaos Space Marines, they look better, but they still don't look great because they're too trimmy, I think. But you know,
but anyway. I think like anyone that buys that box set doesn't make Legionnaires out of that Legionnaire kit.
No,
they just use spare bits to make a second unit.
But I do agree with you, Craig. I think they have blended it very, very well, genuinely. Thank you, Tank, for the $5. I wasn't excited about Huron and the gang before the reveal, but seeing the whole gang and the Raiders, I may get them to add to my Chaos Space Marine soup list. Well, the bonus is if you want to build a Red Corsairs army, now's the time to do it because they're beautiful. If you don't, but you're a Chaos Space Marine player, you can ally these anyway, so just go for it.
Yeah, or just pretty. Your own.
Yeah.
It's like... Because the good thing about Chaos Space Marines, much like the way they're just... Everyone's basically... It's also good and a downside for people that don't play that army, is that Legionnaires, now Raiders, Chosen, the Night Lords kill team, the people, right?
Nemesis Claw.
Right?
It took me ages there myself.
Nemesis Claw. They're all kind of the same Chaos Space Marines with power swords, power fists, chain swords on 32mm bases. Right? There's nothing really to differentiate them. Right? So they all kind of look a bit the same. You know, so if you're a Night Lords person and I've got Night Lords, Legionnaires, and Nemesis Claw, you know, well, which one's which? They kind of look the same. So
yeah, okay.
I think we might end up in a situation where you're almost better off running Chaos as a warband.
Yeah, and I think that is a cool aesthetic as well. And it's quite narrative at the same time, right? But thank you, Tank, for the $5 you're here. Thank you, brother Erlen, for $5. He says they're going to be my Risen for my Dark Angels perfect match. That actually sounds fucking cool.
Yeah,
I'm into it. I like that. That's cool. I love the idea of a Risen army. I know Joe hates the Risen narrative.
I think they make a good Fallen army.
Yeah,
not a Risen.
Thank you, Gaz, for the $5. Do you think recent reveals are testers for some ethos changes for 11th edition rules era, e.g., lore-driven units, push from heroic scale to rescale? I think that's what they're consciously doing because of 11th edition? No. Do I think they're doing that? I'm currently feeling yes.
I think they're doing it,
but I think it's just it's just a correction from having kind of lost their way for a few. So, and I've said this before, right? So, when 10th edition started, the rules team was the old rules team, and it, lovely people, great people. I liked all of the ones we worked with, and we worked with 3 different guys in the past. I won't say names; it's not fair, but all great people, all doing the best they could with what the tools they had available to them. But it was fragmented, it was disjointed, it didn't really work, and they've overhauled the rules writing team completely. And I think that there's a intent from higher up in Games Workshop. I've said it before, right? All they really care about is making money. And I think that if you give the people what they want, you typically make more money.
Also, do you know what? Do you know what last year's number 1 Warhammer unit was?
No.
In the end of year, as voted by the fan base. Nemesis Claw was model of the year last year.
Oh, last year, yeah.
Last year.
You mean last year?
Oh, last year, right?
Yeah, I was like, it wasn't. It was fucking Logan.
Right. So last year, Nemesis Claw was model of the year. And I think that's because Games Workshop realised, people actually like Chaos Space Marines. And if we give them a unit for an army, they really fucking love it.
Yeah.
So they go, well, why don't we just keep doing that?
This is my point, though. What you've said is what I'm trying to say as well. I don't think it's a specific tester or a trial for 11th edition. I think there's a change of ethos in general. And I think that that's the way they're steering the ship now. And I think they're trying to make detachments that are more narrative and rule sets that are more narrative and units that are more narrative. And I just think they're doing it. Whether I think that I'm just... I don't know if I'm correctly analysing what's going on or whether it's just wishful thinking on my part, because that's also what I want them to do. I want them to go down the route of making more narrative units. I want to see Huron in his retinue. I want to see Titus in his retinue. I want to see more narrative rules. I want to be able to create characters. I want to be able to do all those things.
I think it's also a byproduct of the fact that we're looking at... So apart from a couple of re-releases that need to come out for Chaos Space Marines, like Defiler, Obliterators, probably Hellbrute, Venom Crawler, Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines is basically a complete range now, right? Basically, there are obviously Space Marines need multi-part Outriders and Vanguard Vets, but basically we have everything that those armies need.
Yeah.
So the natural progressional step is like, well, Games Workshop's like, how do we keep making money from people? We go, well, additional narrative character units for that army and things to stick onto the kits that already exist.
Yeah.
So upgrade packs and stuff. I think is the next steps.
So I think my answer to your question is kind of yes and no. I think yes, there's an ethos change there. I don't think it's to do with 11th edition specifically. I think it's just that happens to have fallen within this time frame. But I also am conscious that it might be my wishful thinking, because it's what I want to happen, and we have then confirmation bias, don't we? So I'm aware of it, but I don't know. I hope it is. I hope it is a push towards that kind of stuff. I hope it is a push towards more narrative stuff, and I hope that when 11th edition launches, there is inevitably a new competitive pack and a new competitive mission deck. They haven't forgotten all the narrative players, and they continue to cater to those and give you ways of playing that isn't just, I'm going to do some secondaries now. What am I saying? Because thank you, Tank, for the 1 gifted membership, by the way. And Roland, thank you for the $10. He says, like to see Kroot get their own book. I wouldn't.
No, because I don't think their range is wide enough. It's not enough. Like, I'd like to see like the Greater Narlock released, like the big chicken. I mean, that's really cool. In Rampage, I don't think they're just a complete enough range.
Yeah, I don't think they're a complete enough range, and I don't think you then have a way of making them strong enough to compete without like really changing their lore. I conversely, I'd like to see more Xenos like mercenaries and stuff in the Tau book that aren't just Kroot and Vespid. I'd see more different things that I'd be quite happy with, but that's my personal opinion. Thank you anyway for your $10 you want.
Sorry, for how many Kroot are there versus Emperor Children?
All right. Let's not
go down that road.
Thank you, Deeks, for 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Deeks. I hope that you are given a pork pie every day.
Yeah.
For the next 18 months.
Strong. We're getting back to actual Joe hopes. All Toby's hopes are far too sensible and things that could happen.
What are they?
Just like I hope you win the lottery, or I hope you go to Games Workshop and they pay for a 2,000 point army for you, or I hope you win just like really nice ones all the time.
Grounded in reality.
Like and they're all really nice ones all the time. And I'm like, that's lovely, but then the gamble of a Joe Hope when you give 5 or more is that you might get one that's really lovely, but you also might get one that's fucking mental. And that's the beauty of Joe Hopes, right? Ultimately. Thank you, Necro. Thank you, Jeremy, for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Jeremy, that you
oh, he's stuck.
I hope everywhere you walk for the next 2 weeks, you're followed by a line of ducks that get consecutively smaller as it goes down,
Great hope.
Have you seen that goose parade?
No, I have not seen a goose parade, no.
There's also a duck one where they have like a parade where they lead ducks from like a local pond all the way through into a hotel where they all swim around inside the fountain. At the end of the day, they parade them back out again. It's very exciting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, the Lazy Guy, for 1 gifted membership. You're a hero. Thank you, Cry Kinesi, for 1 gifted membership. You're a hero. The Black Jackal says, saw an interesting reasoning the other day about why Games Workshop got rid of point systems and diverse loadouts. It's actually due to a legal precedent they set against themselves. I would believe that maybe slightly if Horus Heresy and Old World didn't exist. But Horus Heresy and Old World still exist, and you can still do loadouts and lots of different weapon options.
The only legal precedent I know that kind of really exists within Games Workshop is the licensing for The Hobbit / Lord of the Rings.
I just can't, like, if they applied that rule across all of their game systems, cool, okay, fine. But logically, you'd have to apply it to Horus Heresy, where you can still make very custom characters, and you have to apply it to Old World, where you can make even more custom characters.
But also, you got to think, there's so many situations now in 40k points where just make models in units granular.
Agree.
Because
I'm going to use a wee quickly, Joe.
Because currently,
keep talking.
Orc boys are Mega Knobs are like 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10.
If you can get 6 members, Joe, we get to 50.
And then Sword Brethren are 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Harlequins are 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're kind of like in situation that happens across so many units in the game that it's like just have all weapon options mostly be 1 in 5, if you want to re-limit stuff and change stuff, and then it'd be like 1 in 10, and just go down that route because it's not hard, and the app allows for you. So when you make an army list in the 40k app, you literally have to. It's not like in the Age of Sigmar one where you reinforce a unit, you press a button and it just doubles the stuff. Is that you literally have to go from 5 to 10 intercessors. You literally have to click the plus button 5 times. Once you go from 5 to 6, the cost doubles, but you literally have to physically press the button 5 times to get to 10. And it's just like you've already got the infrastructure there in your app. Just make it in your games. And it's not hard, I think 11th edition we might go that way. I don't think it will be war gear points. It'll just be individual model points, and then depending on how many you get, we'll change that, because it's like there's sometimes when you double a unit cost, the second half of the unit is also cheaper. So the more models you get, like after the original 5, are less efficient because you can have less options in the unit. I think just have it. The standard 5 is set at 1, and then individual costs afterwards just go up. I was just saying that, like, the app, literally, when you put intercessors in, when you go from 5 to 10, when you go to 5 to 6, the points doubles, but you have to press the button 5 times to get to 10.
Yeah. It's just because you can take under strength units. So you could take 6, but you have to pay for 10.
Yeah.
I think there's no world where they can't put granular points in for individual models. No. It's so easy.
Because I'm in a position now, which is quite nice, actually. Sword Brethren units are 4 and 10. So, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I need like 15 points. I'll just remove a Sword Brethren. I still have a legal unit. And that's great.
And that's one of those things I miss doing. Oh, I'm 15 points behind, but this one bloke is 13 points. So I'll take that unit 5 and just make them 6.
Yeah.
I fucking miss that so much. Hey, anyway, sorry about that quick break. I've drank much coffee and I'm still almost falling asleep here. I'm so fucking tired at the moment. But also chat, just as a complete aside, the lighting down. You didn't get the 6 members?
No.
Did you even try?
Well, I was talking about unit numbers. So
the lighting downstairs is nearly done.
Yeah?
It's nearly done, Jay. I'm very excited.
Soon you'll be able to see.
Currently, you can actually turn the lights on. This is going to sound mental, but currently you can actually turn the lights on and off by using the light on and off switch.
Yeah,
which we haven't been.
Fuse box.
Not the fuse box, which we haven't been able to do for fucking ages. I'm so excited. Right, anyway, thank you, Roland Bain, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Roland Bain. I hope that you learn to make the perfect bread and butter pudding without burning like the currants and stuff on the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't had bread and butter pudding in a long time.
I haven't. I will urge for it.
I don't know what I'm going to get for dinner today.
I'm gonna have a little waddle down, see what I can find.
To Aldi?
Yeah.
Yes, I also need to go to Aldi. I'll come with you. I haven't gone to the shop this morning. Thank you, Stick Monkey, you wonderful human being, for 5. I actually need to ask you a question, Sean. Thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Sean, that you learn to make an entire roast dinner in a 2-drawer air fryer, but that doesn't taste bad, because I had a very bad one on the weekend that was given to me. And it was last minute. My partner's friend dropped a radiator on her foot and had to go to A&E. So they're like, can you come and watch the children whilst we go to A&E? And my partner was already in bed, not feeling great. So I was like, yeah, I'll go and sit around and do literally nothing for what would probably be like 3-4 hours. And they handed me a roast dinner that they cooked in an air fryer. And it was not great. So I hope that you learn to make the perfect roast dinner in an air fryer.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know Sean likes to do the cooking.
He does. I don't know how much of it is in an air fryer, but yeah, he does.
Do you
like
make a good Thai green curry?
Oh, I might have a steak.
Yeah?
And eggs.
I might have a steak medallion panini.
I don't think, though, we have the stuff we need to do, like fried eggs on steak. So we have the hot plates, but we don't have the frying pan.
Oh. They probably do them in Aldi. Am I still going to Beach? Yes, I'm still going to Beachhead. We only have the one car, so what's probably going to happen is I'm going to get dropped off in Bournemouth and then picked up on the Sunday. I mean, you don't have to pay for parking, which is good.
It's included in our hotel anyway, isn't it? Or is it extra?
We had to pay last time.
I had to pay last time.
I say, yeah. They asked me to pay, and I looked shocked. I was like, the fuck are you talking about? And I looked at Liam. I was like, Liam, sort out.
Alpha Omega, thank you for the fuck me. This is like the fucking 7th phone call I've had whilst I'm fucking trying to do a show. Fuck off.
Who is it?
Thank you, Alpha Omega, for the $5. As Prince Uriel is associated with Crawford Iandon, I can see one of the new detachments based around Wraith constructs to partner alongside Uriel. I don't think it will. We have a Wraith construct detachment already, so I don't think there will be one. I just think you're going to see Piratey, Eldari. I can't, because Uriel is ex-Yandon, right? He's still Yandon strictly, but he's now a Corsair.
He isn't. I thought who's the sniper man? The sniper elf man. Who is he? He went away, didn't he? Like it's a new one.
Mm-hmm. I know who you're talking
The
about.
ranger guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was part of the whole Corsairsy people.
He was, yeah. He was Corsairsy.
Illic Nightspear?
That's the one.
Yeah. Where's he? Where's he at the moment?
Question, why on earth would you be okay with a change in female custodians when in the same time they've removed the coolest faction in the setting called the Sisters of Silence? They haven't.
They're still there.
They've not removed the Sisters of Silence at all.
They still exist.
They're still present.
Alatok.
Okay.
Yeah, Sisters of Silence still exist. The thing is, though, like, Sisters of Silence throughout the entire narrative of Horus Heresy 40k have been actually a very small faction because they're super duper rare, right? And I actually probably think that the current Sisters of Silence that already exist, the models wise, probably will scale up better to the new custodes, right? Because like in the Sisters of Silence in most of the books, literally either have a flamer, a bolt gun, or a power sword. The ones that had like the double pistols and stuff weren't really a thing. Right, so you can still run them.
Also, I think the Sisters of Silence models, specifically when they have the swords, are still cool as shit.
Yeah, I think there's in 40k if you run custodes, I do think there's an argument for running 10 Sisters of Silence with swords.
I tell you what, if we get to 100 members in the next 20 minutes, which is another 56, I will buy 2 boxes of Sisters of Silence to build on Thursday. There you go.
Yeah,
I will do that. Citizen Science haven't gone anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
Models as well. I really like their models.
Thank you, War Boss Bunny, for the $5. Femstones feels so ham-fisted in, though. I'm cautious this is going to be a slippery slope for the more poor narrative decisions. Misses a battle scene. So, first of all, I agree it's ham-fisted in. We have not shied away from that at all. Secondly, a slippery slope for poor narrative decisions. Games Workshop's made poor narrative decisions since its conception. It's continued to make poor narrative decisions. It does it all over the place. They normally ham-fist something in with some terrible fucking narrative that they've written at Lenton Road in Nottingham, and then eventually some of the big authors get hold of it and they mould it into something that's a little bit more palatable, a little bit more acceptable, and more importantly, more cool. They do that quite often. They make it cooler. I
think what they kind of do, they just kind of just mush something in, ham-fistedly, and then, like I said earlier, like they then spend some time trying to smooth those edges, try and make it fit in and make it function and make it exist. I think the female custos, people just get over it.
And to round it off, Mr. Benny, you're in chat loads. I love you. You're brilliant. But when I see this all the time from people, Mrs. a battle when you got Space Marines. That's what they are. You already have it.
Yeah.
Like that argument that they're starting to bring in more females to make it kind of more equal. So when are they bringing in more men stuff? Like you've already got majority men stuff.
I think also there are men in Sisters of Battle. All the priests are men.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the established lore for Sisters of Battle is more established than Custodes, right? Because there is a reason why Sisters of Battle exist, and that's because there's the edict was basically that that no men were allowed to bear arms in defense of the church. So they were like, ladies, they're not men. So we'll use them. So that was their kind of way around it. Also, Arco-Flagellants are men as well.
Yeah, and the faction is still 99% female. And then the Games Workshop have released an article since this stuff on Friday that has, and I said this last night, that have categorically stated that Space Marines are men.
Yeah.
Done. So, okay, Custodians now have some women in it. Space Marines are men.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got Sisters of Battle here, Space Marines here,
fuck off,
Custodes in the middle, and like Astra Militarum got female, male.
Astra Militarum is now better representation.
Yeah.
Now we have male and female heads. The Cadian range specifically, hard to do with Kriegers, obviously. The Cadian range specifically is very good at being quite representative. Eldar's been that way for quite a while, both Dark Eldar or Drakari and Craftworlds.
There are female Krieg, right? Because like when they Krieg go to a planet and they need more people, they just go put on gas mask, helmet, and big coat. Done.
Yeah. Well, again, it could be what you want it to be then as well.
Yeah.
And like I've said already, right, this is the thing as well. It's your fucking, it's a sandbox created for you to play in. It's your creative universe. So just don't glue women's heads on if it annoys you that much.
Just do what you want to do.
Just play your hobby.
Like we live in a time where you can make your own chapter. That chapter doesn't exist in Games Workshop's eyes, but you've created it and you're happy with it. Don't tell me the law because I don't care. But you could do what you want to do. No one will stop you. Within reasons, legally. In the hobby, yes. In life, no.
Yeah. Fuck me, I've got 4 voicemail messages now.
Yeah.
Is
it Toby downstairs? He's got like a book on him.
I see War Boss Betty in the chat all the time. I love him to bits, but I don't that Misters of Battle type thing that I keep seeing people branding around. I think is just fucking copium. I don't get it. We already have all Space Marines that are male. You can have your Custodians that can still be all male. You can state if you wanted to that all your Tyranids are male. You do what you fucking want.
But like, whether it's law or not, it doesn't have to be your law.
Well, your law is your law, though. But what you and this is we need to take this approach for wider fucking society, in my personal opinion. Right? Your opinion is your opinion, and you're fully entitled to your opinion. You're welcome to have it. You're also welcome to share your opinion, but it's not. You're not welcome to tell everyone else that they should be thinking or having your opinion. That's the difference. And the wider internet could learn this about lots of different fucking issues. And actually, if people were more open to having adult discussions about these things, you might find that more people would be malleable to your opinion and would kind of perhaps sympathise with or understand it. But people don't do that. You should think what I think. Joe says, no, I don't think what you think. I think what I think. You're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to call you names because you've said you disagree with me.
Yeah.
Bainson, thank you for 1 gifted membership. Nezzy, thank you for $2. Thought on Space Marine stroke human kits, combined arms in 11th. Space Marine
what I found super weird, right? He's got a point. So the Titus and his Defenders of Ultramar, heroes of his, what's it called? His little gang, the Scooby gang that he runs around with.
Yeah.
Right? Is that you have
Scooby gang. There's a dog in there, isn't there?
There's a dog in there. Yeah. Is that a very established part of the Ultramarine lore? Is that you have they have their own standing guard army, right? And in his little Scooby gang, he has got leaders of that guard army. I was like, they could have just banged in a fucking guard, a Defenders of Ultramar guard unit.
Soups was in the chat earlier, and I totally get his point, and I don't know if he's still there, but he said something akin to the reason why he likes his Space Marine super soldiers is he doesn't like humans in his thingy, right? You know, so he doesn't like humans in this setting. He's not interested by them. He's not inspired by them. He doesn't love them. Okay, and I'm like, fine, beautiful. So. And I don't think that's a bad opinion to have or a wrong opinion to have necessarily. But one of the things I really miss at the moment is I miss some of the narrative kind of options that we had previously. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to go back to 3 Smash Captains and the Loyal 32. I don't want to see that. But the idea of having some units of Space Marines that feel hyper elite amongst a sea of human militia, for me, is more narrative.
Yeah.
And so they kind of do it with chaos because you kind of have access to jackals and cultists and what have you, but it doesn't really work the way I think it should. Ultramarines potentially having additional units in their army that are cheap, guard squads basically, that are the specific Ultramarine standing army, I think is cool and I love it, as long as, much like female custodian heads chat, it's an option.
Yeah.
Can you still run an Ultramarine army with no humans in it? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Off you go. If you want to, you can do that. Can you also include humans in it? Yes, you can. That's where I think the sweet spot is. It's difficult to get it right. It's difficult to balance it. It's difficult to get all those rules put it. But you sort of mean that that's the thing where I'm like, I would like to see those options. I would like to see more options where Space Marines have guard attached to them on the tabletop, and it's not just a fucking CP battery for the 3 Smash Captains like we saw loads in 8th edition. But that's my preference anyway. So I think, Nezzy, seeing more of that combined arm stuff would be really positive, personally.
I do find it weird how you can't take 500 points of allied Space Marines into guard.
I'm on board with it being that kind of force being an option, but I think they should keep to allies. Putting these in command squad style units feels like it dilutes the faction's identity. Well, there's a way you solve that, right? Is you have Titus and the Wardens of Ultramar as a unit, but what you actually have as a sellable unit, but what you actually have in the datasheet, if they're clever, and they do this a bit in AOS with, I think it's Warcry Warbands, is you have Titus as a datasheet, and then you have his Wardens as a second datasheet. Yeah. And you can choose to take Titus, if you want to, and you can choose to take his Wardens separately, and you can put them together. That way, for people like yourself, you then don't have to take the human aspect. You can just take Titus.
You can just take Titus and use Gadriel and the... what's his name? Amazon Prime Man, right? And you can use those models in Company Heroes. And then you've got a company. You just put Titus in Company Heroes.
If you can take him separately,
I think you can take him separately.
I don't.
Yeah, I think you can take it separately in another unit. Right, I think. What you could do is you take a guard army, paint it blue, and then take 500 points of Inquisition, and you could just take a bunch of kill teams, but just use Ultramarine.
Titus's rules must be out because I haven't. Because someone said that's what they've done. I haven't kept
my phone.
I'm gonna hold my hands up here, chat. Where I'm struggling ever so slightly is I haven't kept up with all of the rules and stuff that have been sent through to us because I am absolutely, completely, and utterly fucking snowed under here at the moment. To the point where I had considered quite strongly, and I've spoken to Toby about it this morning, I had considered setting Joe up to do a stream all on his own, just so I could carry on working downstairs.
No,
and then, what?
You could take Titus for 90 points on his own.
As the captain?
Yeah, just
So can you take the Wardens as a separate unit, or is it Titus and the Wardens? I'm just curious. So I'm so far behind because I'm just fucking absolutely snowed at the moment, and which is why the membership beg is quite desperate right now. The lighting's in now, most of it, and it's on and working, and I fucking can't wait to show you all what we've done. But I haven't been able to keep up with everything, and Luce has been quite concerned about me being so very fucking close to burning out all the time. But we'll get there. It's gonna be amazing. The Warden's a separate unit. Because if they've done exactly what I've just said, I'm just telling you. All right, I should be involved. There we go.
Yeah, so you can have the Wardens of Ultramar as a separate. So you can take the Wardens of Ultramar without Titus.
Yeah, exactly. So they've done it. It's exactly what I want to see. I could write this fucking game. Thank you, Nick, for the $5. I wish some of this bedwetting happened with heavy bolters not being in World Eaters when they're in the narrative. Where's the crying then, I ask you? I fucking cried a lot about it, Nick. I was really upset. One of the key characters in the Black Legion books was a World Eater with a heavy bolter.
I mean, in the books, it is established that he's dead by now.
So, right, he's still a World Eater with a heavy bolter, though.
No other heavy bolters exist.
Never, just that one. That was the only World Eater heavy bolter that ever existed. Mm. So yeah, the thing is, some of the decisions that are made. So I don't care. I don't think this is a problem now to talk about this. We've experienced playtesting in the past, right? Years ago. I'll categorically say years ago, and the rules writing team has changed significantly. So I'd like to think that there's a possibility that lots of things have changed, and there has been conversations that have been had in the past around units that have been removed, and it's around sales. So when you bring out World Eaters as a brand new faction, and you restrict them so that they can only really take Hellbrutes, Forge Fiends, Mauler Fiends, Defilers, but otherwise here's Berserkers, here's 8-bound, here's Exalted 8-bound, here's Angron, here's Jackals. If you take away Havoc squads, Biker squads, etc., then a person who wants to play World Eaters is then required to buy a lot more fucking stuff. So I was fucking really upset because at least these new Custodian guards, by bringing these out, if you've currently got a 2,000 point Custodian army, as long as the base sizes are the same, which it looks like they're going to be, do you have to buy any of this Custodian guard stuff to keep playing your army, Jay?
No.
You just carry on playing your army.
So Magnus the Red, he did use plasma cannon during the heresy, right? Which blew his hands off, and then he had a heavy bolter with his new hands. So when you meet him, before he's even met Abaddon and Iskandar, he is using a heavy bolter. So we do know the law.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And so at least this is the other thing with the custodian stuff. All these people that are like, you don't have to buy it. Like you don't even have to buy it to run custodians anymore. Because all your old stuff is still relevant.
Although I do find
the Custodian Guard Squad was still a Guard Squad with a Vexilla. It was still spears or swords and shields. Like, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think what's interesting, though, is that there's going to be a complete market crash on old Custodes kits now. Like, the devaluing of the old Custodes kit is going to hit hard when everyone sells their army.
I think this is a bold statement because it's plastic kit to plastic kit, but I think it's one of the best updates they've ever done. And I'm talking I'm an Eldar fan where we've just gone from fine cast fucking aspect warriors to all plastic, and I think it's one of the best upgrades they've ever done. Nick says they took the heavy bolters off us because woke. Am I doing it right? Mm-hmm. Just get the Sean Dyche picture up, Nick. Utter woke nonsense. That's what you want. You want that picture for everything. Yeah, sometimes I do. So they have a history of retconning law and making changes, and it often is received wildly differently depending on what they're retconning. Did people kick off when the Rogal Dawn just suddenly appeared? Did people kick off about that? They were very upset about the fact they had a hole in the bottom of it. That went away very quickly.
That was wild.
Right, I personally think that the Rogel Dawn is one of the epitomizations of what's wrong a lot with the hobby world out there.
Honestly,
right?
it's like people that were picking their fights.
Yeah, there's a gap in the bottom that you never see.
The fact that people were then trying to sell 3D printed hole fillers.
But people were buying them as well.
I just
unbelievable.
Like the fucking, but no one batted an eyelid when the fucking Admec toaster came out, the toaster transport. That fucking thing's hollow underneath. Like,
oh yeah,
grips. Honest to God, like
the fucking outcry. Honestly,
like,
it's yeah. But then Games Workshop are a company with a lot of people, especially those who like to use significant clickbait titles and death to Games Workshop and no one ever use them again. I'm going to include them in every single title I ever write on my YouTube channel because otherwise I won't get any views. But death to Games Workshop, they're the worst thing in the world. The thing is with those is they will find any reason to be fucking angry. So Games Workshop could give £1 million to a local fucking orphanage and they'll be like, Games Workshop hates the working man because it gives it all to poor children.
Or they'll go like, oh, a murderer came from that orphanage 87 years ago.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, yeah.
How dare they give £1 million to that orphanage? It's got girls in it.
Yeah,
that's what.
It's just, I think I do feel sorry for Games Workshop because I do feel like the 40k community has one of the most toxic, underbellies, And to steal something I heard from someone else, I don't know if he's allowed to say it. It's like they're like sometimes the arguments that you pick to fight say more about you than the choices that Games Workshop have made.
Yeah.
Like if you're upset that you can glue a lady head onto a Custodes, that says more about you as a person than it does about Games Workshop's lore or the game in general, I will caveat that being upset about the way in which it's been brought into the narrative. I get that. Yeah,
I understand that, I've been an advocate for that. I understand that. I'm not saying if you're upset about how they brought it in and the weird kind of it's always been like that. Then I get you being upset about that. I'm never gonna criticize anyone for that at all. But if you're upset about the fact that you have that choice now, that's a problem.
And it's like. And it's also it says a lot about you and how you handle it as well, right? You're on the internet wailing about Games Workshop's changed the story of this made-up miniature war game in a time when, America's trying to invade its allies and there's wars in Ukraine.
Right.
And people are literally dying of cancer every day. People can't afford to feed themselves. Be like, I don't like girls.
People can't afford to feed themselves. Please gift. Yeah. We're actually one away from 50, chat. But you're right. 100%. Real world problems is real world problems, and this isn't a problem in the grand scheme of things. But at the same time, I also think that the shareholders, the senior people, and some of the people that are buying up big quantities of shares are looking at the Warhammer 40k universe and Games Workshop universe in general. They're looking at the Amazon TV deal. They're looking at the exposure from superstars like Henry Cavill, etc. And there's a possibility, and it's widely kind of not predicted, I guess, but people think it could happen. So it is a prediction. I'm not saying it's a common one necessarily, or one that's got tons and tons and tons of evidence behind it. But there is every real possibility, if Amazon does a good job, that the Warhammer universe becomes the next fucking MCU.
Yeah, well, look, right.
And if it becomes MCU, if it becomes the next MCU, right, then when that happens and it goes mainstream to everybody, they want it to look like they are representing everybody.
Yeah, and I think look at how the Amazon series for Fallout is.
I fucking love that series.
I think before Series 2 came out, Series 3 had been commissioned, right? As I think Series 4 has already been greenlit, right? Because every episode is just a fucking love story to that game series, right? Every scene. I do think that Fallout is quite possibly the best computer game to screen adaptation
ever
made.
100%.
Right?
I completely agree with that.
And I think there is a team at Amazon that can handle the transference of 40k to the screen, right? Because we know they could do it in games, because that's been done well, and there's fans out there. If it goes well, like, the eyes of the planet will be on our hobby, right? And Games Workshop doesn't want people like going like they don't want people coming in and going like, we're getting shit about putting lady heads on models, right?
But it is about. I think it's mostly for most people. I think most people, it's about how they handle it, not what they've done necessarily.
Yeah.
And they like Fallout's lead character for the series is a woman. No one fucking cares because the way that series is put together, the way that it is a love letter to the games, the way that the way that it's built is fucking perfect. So no one gives a fuck who the main character. And this, I think it might be Lucy saying this last night. There comes a point when things are done so well, it doesn't matter what race or religion or it doesn't matter. No one cares because it's a good show.
Yeah, but also like the people that come and watch the Amazon series, right? They'll come and watch it because Henry Cavill's in it. They might never have heard of Warhammer. They go, "Oh, Henry Cavill's got a new TV series. The Witcher got cancelled, but that was really good. Let's watch this one. I don't know what it's about, right?" I'd say half of the people that watch that TV series or film when it comes out don't have a fucking clue what Warhammer is or what the background is or anything.
Lucy's watching Fallout with me.
Yeah.
She's never played the games and she's enjoying the show. So, you know.
So whatever these people come into, right, whatever, the day they walk through the door, the lore that exists at the time is canon for them. It doesn't matter what happened before or how things have changed. The moment they have arrived is what the establishment is.
Ben says MCU didn't proceed well after time. And MCU got thrashed to death. They tried to bleed it for everything they fucking could. And that's where the problem lies there. And that's obviously a concern. That being said, some of the latter stuff for MCU, my kids, who are 13 yesterday and 8, the youngest, still think all of the MCU stuff's cool as shit because they're kids.
Well, the thing is, though, I think after Endgame, there was essentially a reset to change. So the audience of Endgame is 12 years older than the original release. So the people that were teenage then are now fully grown adults with a job and children, and lives. So the new version of Marvel is essentially aimed at their kids, not them.
But also a lot of what they chucked out was just trying to get it out for the sake of getting out to sell it.
They have announced that, like, we're not going to put something out every year.
Yeah, when you try and sustain that kind of release rate for big cinema, the quality just suffers. The writing won't be as good. It just will. The editing won't be as good. It just suffers. And I think that with 40k specifically, or Warhammer in general, as long as they protect that a little bit and they put quality out over quantity, then I think it will be fine. And I think companies are learning that quality over quantity. Someone said somewhere, where was it? I can't remember what it was. Someone said something like, there we go, Eds. It's almost as if you make something entertaining, people will find it entertaining. Exactly. Just fucking that won't let me super chat. Just gift 50 members instead, Meg.
PayPal. Money in a big bag with a dollar sign on it in the post.
Well, don't send money in the post because we'll probably get a tariff now, won't we?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ted, for $10. He says, at the end of the day, why do people, quotation marks, care what random strangers they will never meet choose to do with their plastic toys? If you want all your toys to be boys, then they can be. Inclusivity is key. I agree. Yeah, they can be, absolutely. Yeah. If you wanted, I mean, you struggle a little bit with some of the sculpts, but if you wanted, you could 3D print nothing but male heads and make your Misters about if you really want to.
I mean, I've seen plenty of female-headed Space Marines on Instagram.
Do what you want.
I'm like, you're having fun. Keep doing you.
Do what you want. Yeah, absolutely. It's your hobby. Do what you want. Deeks, thank you for the $2. He says, "Yay, Liam rant." It's just one of those things in the wider community that fucking annoys me.
The thing is, we've been in this hobby long enough, and the internet has existed long enough that we've all seen the Hello Kitty Space Marines. We've all seen the My Little Pony Space Marines, right?
And do you know what I do? As I look at those, and I'll hold my hands up now, and I categorically say I think they're awful. As in, I would never do it. But also, fair play, they look cool.
It's like, it's your money. You do what you want with it.
Exactly. And if I stand opposite someone who puts that on the table, I'm not going to be like, what's that? I look at it and I'm like, not for me, but cool.
It's like, at the end of the day, like, I don't understand people that paid to go and watch a bunch of men kick a ball around a field,
I do that.
right?
I do that.
But you derive great fun from it.
I do.
You know?
Well, not so much lately, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you chose the wrong team, right? Right? Like, there's literally thousands of teams out there, and you landed on the wrong one.
Yeah. I mean, the one I was born in.
Yeah. But people do it. It's literally one of the highest grossing sports on the planet. You know, next to what American football and basketball.
I think so. Yeah.
Probably like the ones that. But it's like. But if people are doing it and enjoying it, let them fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you go to the football?
No.
You don't have to, do you?
No.
You have to.
You know.
Imagine that.
I could go and watch football, but I choose not to.
Exactly.
You know.
Wait, so you can not do some things. You just quietly choose not to do it.
Football's on the television. You know. I could watch it, but I choose not to.
Yeah.
Right. But
another phone call.
I don't go on the internet and attack people that like football.
Yeah.
You know. I do with a different account.
Thank you. Well, where do we start? Thank you, Robin Ellis, for the one gifted. You're amazing. Thank you so much, you hero. Stick Monkey, thank you for the $2. He says usual nonsense, isn't it? He wrote it slightly differently. Did you see it? How he wrote
this?
Nonsense. Stick Monkey.
I like it. Yeah.
Callum, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Callum. I hope that you find out that there's loads of rumours about you that you'd never heard, right? But they're all complimentary.
Oh, okay.
Like, I heard he's got a massive penis. Or I heard that he's an incredible lover.
I don't have that.
I heard that he's incredibly rich and treats his nan really well. You know, stuff like that. All good.
Beautiful. Ted, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Ted. I hope that you get to join a bobsled team.
Beautiful. And then Deeks, who said, for the Joe Hopes, thank you for 5 more gifted memberships. We're on 60, chat.
Deeks.
If we get to 100, I'll order 2 boxes of silence. You've got 4 minutes.
I hope that, Deeks, that you learn to draw a perfect circle by hand. Perfect 360 degrees, no wobbly lines, joins all the way around.
Yeah.
You know, perfect. And it makes you money somehow.
And thank you, Luke, for the $5 at the end, who says, these poor people watching and enjoying the Amazon web series, not knowing they're about to start reading the Horus Heresy. Yes.
Well, it depends on where it's set, right?
And then they go looking at what the models are, and then they go, oh, hang on a minute, there's a game here, and they go, oh, hang on a minute, it's 2,000. There's a slippery slope. That's the Funnel Games Workshop want you in. They want you in catch-all TV show that's easy to watch, into narrative book reading, into maybe building some plastic, into playing the game. They want you in that web funnel.
I think Games Workshop's done a very, very good job over the last, I don't know, 5-6 years of getting rid of the competition. And depending on how you feel about how they handled it anyway, but managing the distribution of good licensed product. So their merchandise website, I think, is very, very good. I ordered a Black Templar t-shirt off it on the weekend. I realised I need to get a third because Beachhead is 3 days. I need a Black Templar t-shirt for every day.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to buy 3 Custodians t-shirts then?
I've got the one Night Lords one. I need to get a second one. You know, I need to get 2. I need to get 2 of every faction that I play. So for every 2-day tournament I go to, I've got one for both days.
Okay.
But it's like, so when the Amazon TV series comes out, say it's about Blood Angels, right? Is that you could go on the internet and buy a Blood Angels t-shirt, a hoodie, you know, a hat, a bowl, a cup. You could buy Dante and some Sanguinary Guard, like toys, you know. You can go pick up Space Marine 2 and run around as a Space Marine. You can play Dawn of War and Total War when that comes out. I think they've like handled the initial things that you would want as a new fan of Warhammer.
And it's important, like things like Space Marine 2 is an interesting one, right? Because I've heavily criticised that game for how it lacks a level of complexity that I like in video games. I have also come to realize lately that I just don't have the time or inclination to play video games anymore. So it might just be that I'm also turning into a grumpy old man. But interestingly,
Turning.
Right. But interestingly, my brother's son, my nephew, wanted Space Marine 2 for his birthday, which is on the day after Boxing Day. So I got him the game. I didn't realise that part of the reason why I had to get in that game was because he did want Space Marine 2, but also because my brother wanted to play Space Marine 2 on their PlayStation, and he needed an excuse to have it in the house. So I bought Space Marine 2 for him, and my brother messaged me a couple of weeks ago, and the kids had gone to bed, and he sat down and played it. And Ash doesn't play video games. He just wanted to play it because it was Space Marine, right? And I realised, at that point, I realised the genius of a game like that. Because he's like, I'm not good at first-person shooters, I'm not good at RPGs. I'm not good at any. I'm not good at any. Like all he does is play Football Manager for fuck's sake. And he messaged me and went, "This game is fucking excellent. I'm not very good at this game normally, so I put it on easy, and I'm really enjoying all the way through."
Good.
And I'm like, at that point, although for me as a veteran gamer and a veteran 40k person, I'm like, I don't think I love it. He is having the best time.
I've put literal weeks of time.
And that if he's having the best time as a person who doesn't play those kinds of games, and he's having the best time, that is a borderline perfect product.
Space Marine 2 is a masterclass in immediate satisfaction. You know, like I want to. The prospect is I want to be a 10-foot tall, genetically enhanced super soldier with a chainsaw sword and a gun that fires mini grenades, right? And I want to shoot them at aliens that run at me. You know, and Space Marine 2 delivers that in spades, you know, and it's visceral, and the sound is great, and you can pick all the colours, and the story's brilliant, and the whole thing is just good. All the executions are just.
Which, when you think about new fans, it's perfect.
Yeah,
you can pick up and just do it.
Yeah, you can do it, and it's so like it doesn't spoon feed you the information that you need. But everything's self-explanatory in what it does. There's so many games that come out. I fucking hate this. Where they go, here you go, you play the game now. It's like there's no tutorial. Mm-hmm. There's no
balls deep. Off you go.
Yeah, like I'm not going to explain the story to you. There's times when I've played games where they're like, oh, we have to learn to look up, learn to look down, learn to look left, learn to look right. You know, this is what a crouch is, right? That's annoying. But this is how you look in your backpack, you know. Some stuff like that. I'm playing Stalker 2 at the moment, and it just goes like, there's no kind of explanation on how some things work. You just have to kind of figure it out. Where Space Marine 2 is like, chop is this, shoot is that, move is that, right? Follow the line that we give you. Go. And I love it. And soon we're getting for the the side missions, chapter specific heads and voice lines now.
That's good.
Because currently you could be a Blood Angel and he's shouting about Gilliman.
Yeah.
Right. So we're getting like Templar heads, Blood Angel heads, Space Wolf heads and lines. I think the banners all change as well. It's very exciting.
Is that Meg or Zach? Thank you for the $10. Says you look great with a shaved head, Liam. Hi, Joe.
Hello. My hair is awful. I need to go see beautiful Ben at the barber.
Big bad beautiful Ben. Just a quick reinstall. Thank you so much for the $10. We are 60 gifted chats. Thank you so much for the 60 gifted memberships. I'm just going to give you a little love heart. Like that.
I need to.
There we go.
Yeah, Ben followed me on Instagram the other day.
Big beautiful Ben.
Yeah.
Did he?
I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because it's not exactly the content I imagine he's after.
He's a supportive guy, isn't he?
He is supportive, yeah.
Yeah.
So I followed him back. His Instagram pictures, he is like, pow, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be Meg because there's a love heart on it. That makes sense. Love you, Meg. I wasn't sure of it when I started, and now I'm just figuring I've got used to it now.
Yeah, I'm just fired prod. I am not a Soulsborne fan. I was playing Dark Souls Night Rain. I enjoyed that, but that's Dark Souls easy mode.
Yeah.
And I only got that because Mr. War Hipster, bought it for me because he wanted someone to play with. And then I ended up playing it with him and Mikey.
They're just drip feeding it in Slowed Outlet to keep us online.
Yeah.
Cornet Ed, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I need to. Hopefully, the update for Space Marine 2 is coming out soon. Actually, I fucking love Space Marine 2. It's so good.
Yeah.
I play it and I'm like, the biggest mistake that Space Marine 2 has made though is a misrepresentation of how good some units are.
What do you mean?
Like the concept that 3 Space Marines could kill anything in the game.
Narratively, it's correct though.
Narratively, it's correct,
right? So narratively,
but
have a problem
also that book is sometimes a misrepresentation of how good a fucking Tyranid warrior is. Yeah. You know, at times I've just been fucking Rochambeau'd, just folded me up like a pretzel by like 3 warriors.
Yeah,
so I'm like, on the table, this does not happen.
Anyway, should we give Cornet Ed a hope, and then we can go get some food?
Cornet Ed, I hope that you decide to start wearing a top hat with a monocle.
I reckon that suit him.
Suits you, and it starts to become an established style within your friend group and town.
Yeah, I reckon it would suit
I remember I was in Paddington Station.
I reckon I'd suit a monocle.
In the Krispy Kreme store a couple of years ago. Don't know if it's there anymore still. But there was 2 lads from London Engineer University. Both of them, massive mustaches, waistcoats, pocket watches on chains. And I was like, that looks good. I'm jealous.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I could get into a steampunk era. I'd be into that.
Like goggles on top hat.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you for the 5 gifted. We're ended on 65 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for your generosity, you wonderful human beings. Which, it means you've only got to do 135 tonight. Aren't you amazing?
I think it's Tyranid Space Wolves.
That was said with such confidence.
So I was yawning at the time. A yawn started immediately.
So we've got a live game of Warhammer 40k for you wonderful people tonight. It's Tom versus Joe, because he's back, so we're going to put him in front of the camera to play some Warhamsters for you. And it's possibly going to be Tyranids versus Space Wolves. And then tomorrow we've got another... tomorrow we've got no show. There's no Warhammer show tomorrow because it's football night. I forgot about that. That's the thing that's happening. I've also got the directors and shareholders in here for the day as well. So, and then on Thursday, we're back with the Liam and Joe show at 13:30. We'll be sat at the table making some hobbies. And then on Thursday evening, there's a live game where Toby's going to get fingered by competitive Paddy, which you lot paid for. So please show up and support it. Finally, Friday, we've got After Dark at 9 p.m. And then it's the weekend. Look forward to the weekend.
You know when you're sometimes going through Facebook videos or Instagram reels or whatever, and it's like, by the way, here's a car crash, a literal car crash. Here's a person falling into a trash compactor. I feel that's what Thursday's going to be.
You're going to get to sit on the deck and watch it.
Yeah. It's just
the grin on your face and that one.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's Toby doing something that he's going to hate, and just the army he's running. And Paddy doing just whatever Paddy wants to do.
What happens if Toby beats him?
I don't think we ever let Paddy forget it.
Yeah. What happens if he beats him? I feel like we should have like a rule on it.
I feel like the Paddy just stops doing tournaments altogether.
I feel like if Toby beats him on Thursday, Paddy's got to switch his faction for Beachhead to Admech.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we do.
I imagine if I got Belisarius' call done for him and some more robots, he might be interested.
He was really interested when he thought that the robots had a 4-up feel no pain, and then realised it was just a data smith that had a 4-up feel no pain. He was very upset.
So I need to get the stuff that I'm taking. I've got a box of stuff by the door, which I left here. I think I was coming back last week, which I'm going to take home, which has got call and all the robots in, because I do want to run the 12 robot list.
Okay.
I think it's got legs.
Cool. Anyway, so that's all the content you've got to look forward to for the rest of the week. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully you will come and have fun this evening for the live game of Warhammer 40k. Come support us, come and enjoy yourselves, come and make comments, etc., etc. You're all amazing humans. We appreciate you all very, very much. And I think that's everything. Good to have Joe back, obviously. It's always a bit sadder when he's not here. So there you go. I think that's everything. Yeah, everything done.
Yeah.
Time to go to shop and stuff. Thank you so much for watching, you wonderful human beings. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.